The veil has finally been lifted, not with a statement, but with a glimpse into a world fiercely protected until now. In the shadowy, rain-streaked glimpses of the new trailer for Taylor Swift, the end of an era, the most whispered about romance of the decade is pulled from the headlines and into intimate focus. This is not the blinding flash of paparazzi cameras, but the soft, private glow of a love story unfolding backstage. We see the world's biggest pop star, stripped of the sequins and the stadium roar, sharing a hushed phone call where she finds the beautiful, absurd parallel between her symphony and his football field. We basically have the same job. The camera then steals a moment of pure, unguarded tenderness, a swift, heartfelt kiss in the quiet after the final note, a silent promise exchanged away from the screaming crowds. Even her mother's voice, a steady constant in Swift's whirlwind life, weighs in with a blessing that seals the narrative, affirming that Travis Kelce brings a lot of happiness. This is more than a trailer, it is a carefully curated, yet profoundly genuine, opening of a heart that the world thought it knew, revealing a new, joyful chapter written not in poetry, but in the quiet, triumphant moments between the songs. On that pivotal Thursday, the 35-year-old maestro of heartbreak and anthems finally pulled back the gilded curtain for the world. With the release of the first full trailer for her upcoming docuseries, Taylor Swift didn't just share clips, she offered a key to the inner sanctum of the most monumental tour of her career. The footage unraveled like a cherished secret, revealing the sheer, Herculean effort that transformed an idea into the era's tour spectacle. It was a raw, intimate portrait of the artist at her most vulnerable and most determined, far from the deafening roar of the crowd, immersed in grueling dance rehearsals, intricate vocal warm-ups, and painstaking staging sessions. But the true revelation flickered in the stolen, backstage moments, the quiet, anxious deep breaths in the wings, the triumphant, sweat-soaked embraces with her crew after a flawless set, and the hushed, glitter-strewn conversations that happened in the shadows just beyond the stage lights. This was more than a preview, it was a testament to the beautiful, brutal, and deeply human machinery that powered the magic, proving that the journey from the silent dressing room to the roaring stadium was a saga all its own. But beyond the dazzling spectacle and the grueling preparations, the trailer served its most tantalizing function. It cracked open the door to a sanctuary Taylor Swift has fiercely guarded. There, in the quiet that follows the encore, her public persona dissolves to reveal the woman beneath, offering an intimate glimpse into the private world she has built with Travis Kelce. The 36-year-old NFL star is not presented as a mere guest star, but as an integral part of the ecosystem, a steady, grounding presence amidst the swirling chaos. The footage weaves him seamlessly into the fabric of her reality, sharing quiet jokes over the phone and sharing a kiss in the dimly lit backstage corridors, a world away from the flashing cameras of a football stadium. This is not the romance of tabloid headlines, but something far more profound and authentic. It is the story of two titans at the peak of their respective games, finding not competition, but solace, understanding, and a shared, surprising normalcy in each other's arms. Amid the whirlwind of rehearsal footage and stadium-sized spectacle, it is the soft, unwavering voice of her mother that delivers the most powerful verdict. Andrea Swift, a matriarch who has witnessed every chapter of her daughter's very public life, leans toward the camera, her words measured and certain. Travis Kelce, he brings a lot of happiness. In that simple, profound statement, the curated narrative of a celebrity romance falls away, replaced by the raw truth of a parent's witness. It is more than an endorsement, it is an absolution from the woman who has seen the toll of fame and the weight of the world on her daughter's shoulders. Andrea's affirmation cuts through the noise, confirming what the stolen glances and backstage laughter have already hinted at. This is not a headline, but a healing. In the end, after all the records broken and the eras celebrated, the greatest victory the film captures may be this quiet, hard-won happiness, finally delivered by the man who simply makes her daughter laugh. And then, the trailer offers its most disarmingly human moment. The camera finds Taylor Swift not on a stage, but curled in the plush backseat of a car, the city lights painting fleeting shadows across her face. The shield of the global icon has fallen completely, replaced by the soft, unguarded expression of a woman in love, her phone pressed to her ear in a private conversation with Kelce. There's no audience here, no performance, just the quiet murmur of her voice and the gentle smile that plays on her lips, a smile that speaks of inside jokes and a shared understanding that transcends the chaos of their respective worlds. It is a stolen glimpse into the very ordinary foundation of their extraordinary lives, proving that amidst the roaring crowds and the blinding glare of the spotlight, their connection thrives in the quiet, mobile sanctum of a backseat phone call. The trailer's most revealing moment hinges not on a grand gesture, but on a simple, profound truth uttered in the quiet solitude of a car ride. There, with a makeup-free face that lays her authenticity bare, Taylor Swift smiles widely into her phone, her entire demeanor softening as she connects with the football star. "We basically have the same job," she tells him, her voice laced with the warmth of shared understanding. In that one, brilliantly simple sentence, the immense gulf between a stadium stage and a football field collapses entirely. It is an acknowledgement that transcends the superficial. It's not about singing or scoring, but about the shared weight of performance, the symbiotic relationship with a team and a roaring crowd, and the unique, isolating pressure that only they, in all the world, can truly comprehend for one another. This is the bedrock of their romance, not just attraction, but a fundamental, soul-deep recognition. And in that quiet backseat sanctuary, the metaphor deepened, becoming the very architecture of their understanding. "You got teammates, I got teammates," Kelce agreed, his voice a steady confirmation through the phone, bridging the 1,000 miles between them with a shared truth. Without missing a beat, Swift illuminated the analogy further, her smile practically audible as she drew the most heartfelt parallel of all: "You've got Coach Reed, I've got my mom." In that single exchange, the foundation of their world was laid bare. It was an acknowledgement that behind every legendary performance, whether under the blinding lights of a Super Bowl or the sweeping gaze of a stadium tour, lies not just individual talent, but an entire ecosystem of support, strategy, and unconditional belief. They weren't just two celebrities from different worlds finding common ground, they were two pillars of pressure, recognizing in each other the same sacred network of people who hold them up, allowing them to shine. The profound truth of their parallel lives hung in the air for a mere second before the absurdity and beauty of it all became too much to bear, and they both erupted in a wave of genuine, unfiltered laughter, a sound that sealed the clip not with a scripted ending, but with the pure joy of a shared secret. This tender, auditory intimacy then gave way to a visual crescendo later in the trailer, where the couple was captured in a moment of silent, powerful connection. There, underneath the stage, in the very bones of the spectacle that defines her life, they were seen embracing, sharing a loving kiss away from the adoring screams of the crowd. It was a perfect dichotomy, the world above them vibrating with the energy of 70,000 fans, while below, in the quiet dimness, the only audience that mattered was each other, a testament to a romance that has found its home not in the spotlight, but gratefully, in the shadows it casts. The scene unfolded with the quiet grace of a private ritual. There, in the hushed, industrial labyrinth beneath the stage, Taylor Swift, still shimmering in the iconic, sapphire sequins of her Midnight's era, stood as both a global superstar and a utterly smitten woman. Slipping away from the lingering echoes of her encore, she approached him from behind, wrapping her arms around the sports star in a gesture that was both possessive and protective. For a moment, she simply rested her head against his back, the glitter of her costume a stark contrast to his simple, comfortable clothes. Feeling her embrace, Travis Kelce turned, his face breaking into an effortless grin before he leaned in, his frame enveloping hers, to plant a tender, lingering smooch on her lips. It was a perfect snapshot of two worlds colliding, the ethereal, crafted glamour of the stage meeting the grounded, authentic affection of a love that doesn't just survive the spotlight, but flourishes gratefully in its quiet aftermath. The trailer's most whimsical glimpse then unfolded, stripping away the final layers of stadium grandeur to reveal a pair of joyful conspirators at play. There, amidst the cold steel and functional machinery of Backstage, the couple was seen riding together on an industrial dolly or platform, a mechanism meant to whisk the superstar from one end of the colossal venue to another with efficiency. But in this stolen moment, it was transformed into a makeshift chariot for two. With Swift still radiant in her sequin stage costume and Kelce by her side, they weren't just being transported, they were stealing a joyride through the inner workings of her world. It was a beautifully incongruous image, the very engine of the tour's relentless pace now serving as the setting for a shared, private joke, a gentle sway as they moved through the shadows, proving that even the most meticulously planned spectacle can still create space for spontaneous, rolling happiness. And then, with the flicker of a trailer and the weight of a heartfelt confession, she invited the world not just to watch, but to truly return. Honestly, can't think of a better way to celebrate my, almost, birthday than to relive the Eras tour with you. Taylor Swift declared, her caption not merely framing the new preview but extending a personal invitation to her millions of fans. But this was not a simple reunion, it was a promise of unprecedented access, a key to the kingdom. This time we're going backstage, she vowed, the words resonating like a thrilling secret whispered in the dark. The announcement that followed was not just a logistical detail, but the grand finale of the spectacle itself, the end of an era. A 6-episode chronicle of the magic and the machinery, would stream on Disney Plus beginning December 12. It was more than a release date, it was the culmination of a legacy, the final, breathtaking bow after a world-shattering run, ensuring that the echo of the cheers would never truly fade. As the trailer reached its emotional peak, a stark, elegant text overlay materialized across the screen, its promise as bold as the spectacle it preceded, an unprecedented look behind the scenes with Taylor Swift. This was no mere tagline, but a key turning the lock on a hidden world. The screen erupted in a breathtaking montage, a whirlwind of dualities that defined her existence. One moment, it was the deafening roar of a stadium, a sea of flickering lights illuminating her as a solitary, sequined goddess commanding the adoration of thousands. In the very next breath, the scene would fracture, cutting to the hushed silence of a rehearsal room, where the same icon moved with focused exhaustion, drenched in sweat. We saw the glittering, flawless smile offered to the camera, then immediately the raw, makeup-free vulnerability of a private conversation. It was a dizzying dance between the incandescent power of the performer and the profound, unguarded humanity of the person, a vivid, living tapestry of the woman who exists in the blistering spotlight, and the one who retreats to the quiet shadows to simply breathe. Her voice, stripped of its musical melody and filled instead with a tone of quiet awe, cut through the noise of memory. This show created a bonding experience for 70,000 people all at once, she told the camera, her eyes holding a profound understanding of the magic she had conjured. There's something very special about that. It was more than a concert, it was a collective heartbeat, a temporal sanctuary where strangers became a community, united under the shared banner of every lyric that had ever soundtracked their lives. And the genesis of this colossal phenomenon was revealed not with fanfare, but with the quiet confidence of a master architect. I came up with the idea for the Eras tour about 2 years before the tour started, she disclosed, pulling back the curtain on a moment of solitary creation. This was the seed, a fragile, ambitious dream nurtured in silence long before the first stadium was booked, a testament to the vast, patient imagination that would soon sweep the world, transforming a personal vision into a global pilgrimage for millions. The ambition was as staggering as it was simple, a promise forged in the quiet of the planning room long before it echoed in sold-out stadiums. I wanted to overserve the fans, she confessed, her voice a blend of fierce determination and profound reverence, in terms of the amount of songs they were going to hear and how far I was going to push myself. This was not merely a performance, it was a physical and emotional marathon, a 3-hour-plus testament of gratitude where every aching muscle and spent breath was a currency paid willingly for their devotion. My main goal is to give something to the fans they didn't expect. She revealed, a glimpse into the architect of surprise who forever seeks to shatter the ceiling of anticipation. And in her final, resonant reflection, she framed the tour not as a mere concert series, but as a cultural landmark. This was a seismic, momentous period of time in my life and in the lives of anyone this tour touched. With those words, she defined the Eras tour as more than music, it was a shared quake of the soul, a tectonic shift in the memory of a generation, leaving a permanent, glittering fault line through the heart of pop culture itself. Her voice, thick with unwavering pride and profound gratitude, swelled as she paid tribute to the army of talent that stood with her in the shadows. All the dancers, all the choreographers, production designers, the crew, the entire band, she gushed, listing them not as staff, but as the very pillars of her world. Every person is the best one in the entire industry. This was no hollow compliment, but a fervent, deeply held belief. In her eyes, the magic was not a singular phenomenon, but a mosaic of individual excellences, a symphony composed of the most virtuosic players ever assembled. Every flawless transition, every thunderous drum fill, every stitch of a costume and every beam of light that hit its mark was a testament to this collective genius. She stood as their captain, but also as their greatest admirer, knowing that the monumental achievement of the Eras Tour was not a solo flight, but a glorious, synchronized ascent, lifted by the hands of the very best. The reverence she held for her team was reflected back to her with equal intensity, as one dancer, still breathless from the memory, confessed to the camera, "I've never seen a boss with this much passion about their job." This single testimony crystallized the entire enterprise. It was not the passion of mere obligation, but a burning, infectious fervor that rippled through every department, turning a job into a pilgrimage and a tour into a testament of collective belief. This intimate backstage portrait, however, was only one half of the story beginning to unfold. The new trailer's release came just days after Travis Kelce himself had begun to lift the lid on their private world, sharing glimpses of their recent escapades through the neon-drenched streets of New York. Together, these revelations painted a complete picture of an artist at the peak of her power, fueled by an unparalleled professional passion, and a woman simultaneously discovering a private, joyful love that thrives in the city's quiet corners, far from the roaring approval of the crowd. The glittering, unrelenting heart of New York City became the backdrop for a new chapter in their modern fairy tale, as the 14-time Grammy-winning songstress and the Super Bowl champion were traced through a constellation of the city's most exclusive and shadowy bars. But the true revelation came not from the paparazzi's flashes, but from the intimate confessional of his podcast booth. On the latest episode of New Heights, Kelce, with the warmth of a man still basking in the afterglow, delved into the specifics of their nightlife antics, painting a picture not of distant celebrities, but of two people delighting in the stolen anonymity of a crowded room. And there, he revealed the core of it all. His favorite aspect of the trip wasn't the prestige of the locations or the thrill of being seen, but something far more profound, the simple, electric joy of experiencing the city's vibrant pulse together, a testament to a bond that finds its strength not in the roar of a stadium, but in the quiet hum of a conversation shared over a dimly lit table. Far from the demands of their twin crowns. Leaning into the microphone, the familiar comfort of a conversation with his brother, Jason, allowing for unvarnished truth, Travis Kelce began to paint the picture of a fleeting escape. "I got a little bit out of the house, went to New York," he explained, the understatement belying the significance of the respite. But then, he delved into the essence of it, his voice tinted with the warmth of recent memory. He recounted how the couple simply hung out, put the feet up, transforming from global icons into any other pair seeking connection in the city's endless hum. "They saw some cool places, ate some great food," he continued, each simple act a cherished rebellion against their meticulously scheduled lives. But the true core of the confession, his favorite aspect, was this: they got to feel the big city in its electricity and buzz that it's always gotten. In that phrase, he revealed more than an itinerary. He described a shared current, a recharging of their spirits not from applause, but from the collective, thrumming energy of New York itself, allowing them to be mere components of its magnificent, anonymous storm. And then, with the reflective tone of a man who knows the fleeting beauty of an off-season, he anchored their entire electric New York getaway in a deeper, more soulful truth. "It's my favorite time, as the seasons are changing, to be around the Midwest and the Northeast," he confessed, his words evoking the crisp, crystalline air, the fiery tapestry of falling leaves, and the golden, low-hanging light that defines that precious transitional moment. The city's buzz was amplified by nature's own majestic performance. "But yeah, it was pretty fun," he added, the casual understatement belying the profound serenity of the experience. It was more than fun, it was a pilgrimage into the heart of autumn, a shared secret between them, where the simple, majestic act of watching the world turn together became the most spectacular event of all. For the Chiefs' tight end, the magic of the city was not just in its skyline or its seasonal shift, but in the spontaneous human connections it fostered. He went on to unravel the threads of his vibrant social tapestry, explaining how amidst the whirlwind, he had not only forged bonds with new friends, drawn into his orbit by the unique energy of the moment, but had also found precious time to reconnect with old ones, their familiarity a comforting anchor in the frenzy. This seamless blend of the new and the nostalgic defined his journey. "It's cool to just kind of vibe around the city like that," Kelce added, the simple phrase capturing the entire ethos of their escape. It was a declaration of liberation, from schedules, from expectations, from the playbook. To vibe was to be guided by nothing but the moment's impulse, to allow the city's rhythm to dictate their path, transforming them from subjects of a spectacle into anonymous architects of their own joy, moving through the electric current of New York not as icons, but simply as a man and a woman, delighting in the company of friends, both old and new. He leaned back, the memory softening his features as he delivered the pure, unadulterated essence of his escape. "I think it's one of my favorite things to do in New York," he confessed, the statement feeling less like a preference and more like a personal creed. "It's just be one with the city and just kinda walk the streets and feel the electricity." This was his true sanctuary, not the dimly lit exclusivity of a private bar, but the vibrant, chaotic democracy of the sidewalk. To simply be, a solitary note harmonizing with the city's grand, relentless symphony. It was in the surrender to that current, in the anonymity of a crowd where everyone was too consumed by their own lives to pay him any mind, that he found a profound sense of peace. He was not Travis Kelce, the superstar, he was just a man, feeling everybody doing their own and in that beautiful, ordinary chaos, finding the freedom to simply exist, occasionally crossing paths and meeting a few new people along the way in moments of unscripted, genuine connection.